Greetings guys, girls, non-binary pals, and welcome back to another video. Several months ago, I made a video about what we know as almond moms. And recently, I have been reminded of their existence. They have been popping up a little bit more within my vicinity, and it has slowly been making things build up inside of me, and now I need an outlet. I need to come back here and we need to have another discussion about almond moms because I have so much that I need to say and add to this conversation, and I think that it's important, and I'm gonna sit down and have this conversation with you. And if you enjoy this video and want to see more videos where we have these like bigger conversations and such, then please do not forget to hit subscribe. The YouTube algorithm has been absolutely kicking my ass recently because I was bombarded by like thousands of men who decided to negatively interact with my channel and like report my videos. So it's had a little bit of a negative impact, and I would really like your help in trying to break out of that a bit and be able to continue doing this and making the videos that I want to make with a little bit less stress on my shoulders about it. So if you want to help support me and my channel in continuing to make videos like this that require a little bit more time than I currently have to be able to work on them, please do subscribe and leave a like and comment down below. I truly do appreciate it, and it like really does help. Any interaction you make with the video makes a difference. Subscribing makes the biggest difference, and then commenting also helps, and then liking is the easiest way to interact and to help, but it truly does help me out. I really have been enjoying making this longer form content recently, and I really would like to continue to do that. So ideally, I would be able to upload slightly less frequently and be able to put more work into these videos. But presently, because of how YouTube is treating me and my videos, I have been stuck not being able to put in as much time and effort into my videos as I would like. So I really do appreciate any of your support and interaction. And I also have a Patreon, patreon.com/savvycat, if you are interested in helping me a bit financially over there as well. It truly does help me out a lot. It starts at only £1 a month, and for that you can get my videos a day early, and then from £3 and up there's a whole bunch more stuff that you can get too. So thank you, I appreciate you and all of your support, and I hope that you enjoy this video, and I hope to see you back for some more later. Before we get started, I would like to put a trigger warning here for eating disorders. This is obviously going to be discussed a lot in this video, so if that is going to be triggering for you, then please do click away, and I will see you in the next one. To start off with, we have to answer the question, what is an almond mom? I'm sure a lot of you are sitting here being like, I don't know what that is. Please explain it to me. So I shall. In simple terms, an almond mom is a mother who has fallen victim to diet culture. It is a mother who has very strict food rules and is often restrictive with food, and either does that in front of her children or oftentimes enforces that onto her children as well. And the term almond mom has come under a lot of criticism recently because it feels dismissive of a larger issue. It feels as though we are not taking it seriously enough, because these almond moms that we are talking about very obviously suffer from restrictive eating disorders of some sort, whether it be anorexia or orthorexia or just eating disorder not otherwise specified, right? They have disordered eating of a sort. And so by calling them almond moms and making all these TikToks and skits and things about it, people feel like we are making fun of them and that we are not taking eating disorders seriously enough. And I do understand where people are coming from with this, you know, like eating disorders absolutely should not be brushed off lightly or made into something that seems like it's easy to overcome. I do get that. Eating disorders are horrible. They are absolutely monstrous things to deal with. I was almost hospitalized as a teenager with an eating disorder. I was in therapy up to 3 times a week dealing with my eating disorder, and that went on for years. I have been technically recovered from my eating disorder for like 6 or 7 years now, but I've had relapses over the years and I still have bad days. This is going to be a constant struggle for probably the rest of my life. Like, I understand the severity of eating disorders. I understand how detrimental they are, how horrible they are, how all-consuming they are. And I by no means think that we should be brushing them off or dismissing them or saying that they're not a big deal and they're really easy to overcome, because that's not true. And I will not be overlooking that or dismissing eating disorders in this video. With all of that being said though, I do think that it is valid for children of mothers or parents in general with eating disorders. I think it's valid for them to complain. I think that it is valid for them to express being upset. I think that it is valid for them to, make light of it or complain or yell or be angry and upset, distressed, etc. I think that's completely fair. Growing up with a parent who is mentally ill of any kind is really difficult. It can be detrimental to kids, right? Like, if your parent is suffering from a mental illness and they are taking that out on you and making that your problem, that's not fair. The mental health of a parent is the parent's responsibility. They cannot be taking that out and projecting that onto their kids. I think if you are a parent, there is a lot of responsibility for you to take care of your child. Your mental health is not your child's problem. You cannot take out your emotional distress and whatever you're going through on your child. You cannot continue that cycle and push that onto them, because that isn't fair. And if that is happening, those kids are allowed to complain about that. They are allowed to be upset about that and talk about how unfair that is, because they are suffering from the actions of their parents. Is it fair that the parents are mentally ill? No. But that's a reason. It's not an excuse. Making skits and jokes and making light of the situation is a completely valid coping mechanism for kids who have experienced this. So with all of that being said, let us take a dive and have a bit of a look at some almond moms and pick it apart and discuss it a bit. This is someone eating some hula hoops and it says, "Me eating a snack in peace because I'm hungry. My mom, should you really be eating that?" And then the audio. "And I wonder if you know how it really feels." Why is this so common? Truly. Don't be shaming people for eating. Just don't be shaming people for eating. It's a really simple, easy thing to do. It's okay to eat snacks. We shouldn't be making people feel guilty about eating snacks. Just standing there, eating a snack in peace, and then someone saying, "Should you really be eating that?" I was hungry, so yes, I should be. Because I'm hungry, which means my body is telling me that I need to eat food. So that is what I'll be doing. Thank you very much. What do you mean, should you be eating that? Why does it matter, right? If I'm hungry and I'm listening to my body, I'm going to eat a snack, and that is none of your business. Don't project your level of hunger and how much you want to be consuming onto me. That's not my problem. That is not my fault. If you want to deny yourself of snacks, that's on you. Don't take that out on me. It also just doesn't matter. What's gonna happen? She's eating a bag of crisps. So what? So what? Should you be eating that? What, are you afraid she's gonna put on a few pounds from eating a bag of crisps? 1, not how that works. 2, why would it matter even if it did? Let people eat food. Simple. When someone tells me to go to hell, but this is what my almond mom thinks is a dinner. And this is just a bowl of lettuce, but not all the different types of lettuce, but iceberg lettuce type lettuce. And I think a little bit of carrot with a few tiny cubes of cheese and some salt. That's what this is. That's dinner. I'm sorry. No, the fuck it isn't. That's not dinner. That's a bowl of water. That's what that is. Crispy water and some cheese. Are you for real right now? Are you kidding me right now? The absolute I don't like salad. I've never liked salad. I am a vegan who hates salad, and everyone always thinks that's hilarious, but it's just true. I am not a salad fan. But even I know that this is not really a salad. This is not a good salad. This has no nutritional value to it at all. This is essentially just crispy water. This barely counts as food. Iceberg lettuce, we were told not to feed that to our rabbit because it had no nutritional value. They were like, you can feed her like cabbage, but like don't do iceberg lettuce because that's nothing for a rabbit. And you're gonna eat that as dinner to fuel you? It can't even fuel a rabbit and you think it's gonna fuel you? Be so for real. Like, these people know nothing about nutrition. And this is the main problem, right? Is that people don't look into nutrition at all outside of what they're being told by like magazines and the internet and like word of mouth and TV, etc. But not like informational places, not like actual good sources, but it's coming straight from diet culture. It is coming from people who are selling things or selling an idea. It is coming from the societal pressure to look a certain way and how everything is about being slim. That is where these people are getting their nutritional information from. They see, don't have carbs, have vegetables, and they go, oh, lettuce. Like, no, no. It's so like, you can't just go, these are veggies, so this is a healthy dinner. That's not how it works. You can have a bowl of vegetables for dinner. Like, that can be adequate, but it needs to be a range of vegetables, and it needs to cover all the different requirements for your like vitamins and minerals and like fiber and such. You can get most of your nutrients out of a salad if it is a good salad. This is not a good salad. You cannot just be like, I'm gonna have a salad and it's this. This is a side for your dinner. If you're going to have a salad for dinner, you need to make a proper salad and like look into what is required to be in that in order for it to be a full meal, because this is not it. This is not going to nourish you. This is not going to feed you. These people truly just see people saying this is good and this is bad and roll with it without ever questioning it. They don't know the value of any of their food. They've just been told that salad is good and this is a salad. They know that less is better. There's not even any dressing on this. No dressing. There's a pinch of salt, but no dressing. Like, I just need you to look me in the eye and tell me, are you happy with your meal right now? Like, does this taste good? Does this fill you up? Do you feel good after eating this? And not like feeling good and they're like, oh, I ate so well today. I only had vegetables and I didn't have any carbs kind of way. Like, in a genuine, like, do you feel good? Are you happy? Because I don't think that you are. I don't think that this is nourishing you or filling you up or making you happy to eat at all. You are denying yourself of necessary nutrients and also just like fuel for your body and also just joy. Like, you've taken the joy out of eating. Like, food is so good and you are going to deny yourself of that because what the internet told you to. And parents are responsible for their kids' nutrition as well. And I know that her kid is an adult now, and I don't know if this was the diet and such in their household growing up, but you are responsible for teaching your kid about nutrition and what goes in their body and teaching them good habits. And you cannot be feeding your kid like this because they need proper nutrients to grow. And if you are feeding yourself this and giving your kids something else because you're like, well, this is okay for me, but I know my kid needs something else, and you're thinking that that makes it okay, it doesn't. Because your kids watch you. They learn from you. And you eating a specific way and having very strict rules about what you can and cannot eat, whether you are intending to or not, your kids are picking up on that and they are going to learn from that. And I'm going to get a little bit more into that after this next one. When the victim of an almond mom comes over for a sleepover and she's just sitting there with a plate of cookies and a bag of goldfish, and she's just kind of like scoffing it all down and being like, oh my god, sugar, processed foods, finally. And this is what my house was when we were kids. Most of my friends came from these like almost crunchy households where like they weren't allowed to have sugar or any processed foods in their houses. They just didn't have any sugar. Their food was so heavily restricted in what was allowed to be in their house and what they were allowed to eat. And so when they came to my house, which was 1 or 2 times a week, I remember we would get home after school and all form a line in my kitchen and be like, we're in line for ice cream. Get home from school, we'd have ice cream. We would have like snacks and like chips and chicken nuggets and whatever for dinner. And it's the only time they were ever like allowed that. And half of them ended up with severe eating disorders. Surprise, surprise. Because they grew up in houses where food was so heavily restricted and there was so much restriction on their food. No one is surprised that they ended up with eating disorders because, again, you learn the habits of your parents. If your parents are really strict on food rules, you are going to pick up on that and you are going to start applying that to yourself. Or alternatively, you're going to go the other way and you can end up with a binge eating disorder because like this, right? That food has been so restricted to you that when you get access to it, you eat a lot of it. You like binge on it. And I know people who have also experienced that, going from households where food was so restricted and they had such intense food rules that they've ended up with binge eating disorders or like bulimia because, you know, binging it, guilt, getting it out, etc. It's so important to not have such black and white rules, right? One of the things I learned in eating disorder therapy, one of the first things we learned is that there's no good food and bad food, just high energy food and low energy food. Every food is like different. It has different nutritional value. It provides you with different things. It has a different purpose. And sometimes you want one more than another. Some things you should have more of than other things, etc. But it's never black and white. It's never good versus bad. It's just different, you know? And if you are teaching that specific foods are an absolute no, that they are bad foods, then you are enforcing a bad relationship with food on your kid. And it means that they're setting up rules. And when you break a rule, you often end up punishing yourself, you know? And eating disorders are a lot about rules. It's like you set rules, you break rules, you punish yourself, and it goes around and around and around. If you have a really bad relationship with food and are completely cutting off entire food groups, you are teaching your kids to have a bad relationship with food as well. And they have not ever had the chance to figure that out for themselves or like learn more about it other than what you say. So if you are uneducated and don't entirely know what you're talking about, you are then enforcing incorrect knowledge onto your children. If you are cutting out complete food groups like sugar and saying that sugar is bad and not giving them a reason that they really understand or empathize with as well, then like it's not going to go well for anyone. As I said, most of the people I know who grew up in houses like this have ended up with eating disorders of some variety, and a bunch of them actually ended up hospitalized due to those eating disorders. You can't just be setting these rules for your kids and thinking that it's all going to be okay. Like, you have a bad relationship with food. You need to acknowledge that, and you need to not enforce that on your child. And I know you may be sitting there thinking, well, you just said that your mom wasn't like that because your house was the ice cream house and you still ended up with an eating disorder. So how did that happen? And like, yeah, okay. I hear what you're saying. However, it's not really that simple, is it? My house had all the different foods, sure. But my mom's relationship with food isn't good at all. She grew up in a household that was not good with food. It was instilled on her. And then she didn't want to put that on me and my sister. So she made a household that was very much like eat what you want, when you want, whatever. She didn't know very much about nutrition at all. So she couldn't really teach us anything about nutrition. And we ate what we wanted to, when we wanted to, etc. But I never saw my mother eat. Like, she never ate dinner. When we went out for food, she never ordered her own food. Like, I very, very rarely ever saw my mom eat. You'd ask her to eat dinner and she would be like, oh, I was picking at it while I was cooking or whatever. Like, she didn't have a plate. She didn't eat. And I witnessed that. And I witnessed her talking badly about her body up until, you know, when I got older, and then I was bigger than her. And I remembered her talking badly about her body for such a long time and the way that she deals with food. And naturally, obviously, that is going to have an impact on myself. And I'm not blaming my mom for my eating disorder because there are a lot of other factors at play as well. But that's just something that aids in that, right? We learn from our parents. And as I was saying before, just because you aren't pushing your restriction on your kids doesn't mean they aren't observing and learning from you. You cannot be telling your kid, like, you have to eat dinner, it's important to eat dinner, if you aren't eating dinner. You can't be telling your kid it's important to be doing this and getting that if you aren't doing that yourself. You know, you have to practice what you preach. You can't be living your own life separately to what you are showing your kid, because your kid is going to be watching you whether you want to teach them something different or not. You have to understand that, and you have to realize that and work on that yourself. Like, you can think that you're undoing damage and breaking the cycle just by being different, treating them differently to how you treat yourself, but it's not that simple. Almond mom raising an almond daughter. We're eating ice cream for dinner tonight, therefore we must walk to the grocery store. Now, this is this is one of those ones where I'm like, alarm bells ringing at the almond mom thing. Because as I was saying at the beginning, right, like, we can use almond mom as a way to cope, as a way to talk about trauma with how parents have raised children with eating disorders and like under diet culture. That's okay. When we're using it like this is dismissing of eating disorders. This is being like, eating disordered mom raising a daughter with an eating disorder. Like, that's what this is, and this is not appropriate. This is not how we use this term. Whenever people use almond daughter, then I'm like, okay, you can't be using that for yourself, because you're no longer actually addressing the issue. You are now neglecting the issue and refusing to confront the issue that almond is literally just a different word for eating disorder. If you are calling yourself an almond daughter, you are acknowledging that you have disordered eating, because that is, by definition, that is what the almond part of almond mom means. It means disordered eating mom. So if you are an almond daughter, you have disordered eating. I'm not going to say you have an eating disorder, you have disordered eating though. In this case, I know this is meant to be just a silly, fun little video that's like not that deep, but I'm about to make it that deep, and you're going to have to deal with it, because something that people refuse to acknowledge and neglect to understand is that this is a form of bulimia, right? This is a bulimic thing. Bulimia is when technically it's binging and then purging. However, it includes like exercise and like laxatives and such. It's not just vomiting. It's getting it out in other forms as well. If you have to do exercise to work off what you have eaten, that is disordered thinking. And I know that we have normalized it so much, and I know that it's a silly, fun joke, but it's not funny. You know, like, I don't know, we've normalized eating disorders so much, to which people truly just don't even realize that what they're saying is unhealthy, because we have glamorized it and made it into such a normal thing where like disordered eating and behaviors is almost more normal than having an actual healthy relationship with food in your body. And it's so fucked up. Like, this is something people say all the time, just casually, being like, oh, I went to the gym, so now I deserve a treat. It's like, no. You went to the gym and you're having a treat. Those are two separate things. They are not related to one another. You do not need to do one to deserve the other, or you do not need to do one because you had the other. You can have the treat. You can go to the gym. They are separate. They do not cancel each other out. They are separate things. It's really important to acknowledge that and to understand that. You can walk to the supermarket. I exclusively walk to the supermarket. I don't have a car, and it's just up the road. I'm always walking to the supermarket. That's fine. You can eat ice cream. Go for it. Good. Eat ice cream. You can walk to the supermarket and then eat ice cream. But don't say you're walking to the supermarket because you're eating ice cream, because that is not a healthy thinking pattern. You do not need to justify eating food. You can just eat food. And this is not a value that should be being instilled by parents in their kids. We should not be teaching this to our children. Because people do say this to their young kids as well. It is something that we see on TV. It is something that we hear all the time. And again, even if parents aren't saying it to their kids, but are saying it about themselves in front of their kids, your kids are going to pick up on it. I remember so many adults saying this around me as a kid, and it did stick. It's something I still have to fight with regularly. Like, if you want ice cream, you can have ice cream. You don't need to earn it. You are allowed to just eat it. You don't need to feel shame or guilt for eating food. And I'm so sick of society loving and promoting and normalizing eating disorders and making them into these little fun, silly jokes because it benefits society for us to be disordered. And I know that a lot of you are probably like rolling your eyes or going to comment like it's really not that deep, but like it kind of is. It is that deep. We've just normalized eating disorders so much to the point where people don't acknowledge behavior that they do is disordered, when in all honesty, most people have disordered eating or disordered eating patterns at this point. Like, it is so normalized and so encouraged that people don't even realize that the way they are thinking and acting and that relationship they have with food is like not healthy. Like, so many people have disordered eating patterns because it is just what is expected and what we are raised on. And it's time for us to say enough is enough and stop normalizing this bullshit and start calling it out. POV, you had a coffee and a slice of cake with your mom at 3:30 p.m. and she says, well, I guess we won't need to eat dinner now. Oh my God, this is the worst. Oh my God, I hate when they do this. What do you mean we? What do you mean we? Don't drag me into this. Don't drag me. You can skip dinner if you must. If you really don't want to eat dinner, I don't think that's a good idea. I think that we should be eating dinner, but like, I can't stop you. Don't make that my problem though. Don't sit here and shame me for wanting dinner because coffee and a cake is not a meal. There is very little nutritional value in that meal. It is not very filling at all. Like, sure, okay, maybe it has like a decently high caloric value, but it's not filling me up. That's not a meal. And I'm allowed to eat treats like that without punishing myself by skipping a meal. It's fine. It's okay. Don't make this my problem. Don't make it my problem. I fucking hate it. Interrupting myself real quick here. I really have to laugh because my mom is here visiting right now, and literally just before I sat down to edit this video, this exact same conversation happened. This morning we shared a slice of cheesecake and had like a chai latte, and then this conversation happened right when I sat down to work and like talked about lunch. It was like 3 hours ago, and I'm like, lunch? She's like, I already ate half a piece of cheesecake. You had half a piece of cheesecake. I don't know if they intend to shame you, but they really do. Because you now like know you're gonna be hungry at dinner time and they're not gonna be, and then you feel weird about it. And you feel like you aren't allowed to eat. Like, you feel wrong for being hungry and like they're gonna judge you for eating. When it, like, we should be the ones judging them. Because what the fuck do you mean you ate a piece of cake and now you don't want dinner? Yes, you do. You don't have to have a big dinner even. Like, if you really are not hungry from that cake somehow, then like at the very least just have something, you know, eat something. There's no way that is going to keep you full until bedtime. I refuse to believe that. This TikTok also had one of the most insane comments I have ever encountered, and I encounter a lot of fucked up content when I'm making these videos. Listen to this. My mom tried to shame me for eating 3 times a day, and I'm currently pregnant. I reminded her of this and she said, no excuse, I made sure to only eat 1,000 calories a day when I was having you. I'm sorry? I'm sorry? I like refuse to believe this. I cannot accept that this is true. 1,000 calories a day is putting your body in starvation mode. Your resting metabolic rate is higher than 1,000 calories. For an explanation of that, if you don't know what I'm talking about, right? Your body is functioning all the time. You are like breathing, your heart is pumping blood, like your intestines, whatever. Like, shit is happening in your body at all times, and that requires fuel. So you could be like just lying in bed all day. Your body is still burning calories. Like, you still require food to just fuel what your body has to do. It's why when you're on your period, you need to eat, I think it's like 200, 300 more calories, because your body is doing more than it normally is. So it requires more energy to do it. The inside of your body and what it's doing burns calories. It burns food. You need to fuel it. And that requires more than 1,000 calories a day. That takes, it's different for everyone, but a minimum of like 1,200 calories for an adult. So if you are eating less than that, your body is then going to be feeding off of itself. It means that your body has to get that energy from somewhere else. So it starts taking it from, sure, your like fat reserves, but also your muscles. This is how people with anorexia die, because it starts eating your muscles and gets to your heart. And it like stops your heart from working because it's trying to take nutrition away from your heart. It like, your heart doesn't have the energy to keep pumping. Your body is eating itself. And that's how people with anorexia die. So if you are eating 1,000 calories a day, your body is eating itself. If you are pregnant, babies already drain your nutrients. Babies start feeding off of your bones. People have calcium deficiencies and like brittle bones when they're pregnant because their babies are stealing the nutrition from their bones. Fetuses are feeding off of you. You have to eat because your nutrients is your baby's nutrients. You need more because firstly, your body is growing a baby that requires a fair amount of energy. And also that baby requires nutrients to be able to grow. I cannot imagine eating 1,000 calories a day while pregnant would lead you to being able to carry a pregnancy to term. Like, that feels like it would take a miracle. I don't know much about pregnancy or whatever, but like that feels like it cannot be healthy for you or the baby, like at all. If you are eating that little, it's going to be horrible for both you and the baby. I would say there is a decent possibility of one or both of you dying during that. And the fact that this mother is shaming her daughter for eating 3 meals a day while pregnant because she was literally starving in pregnancy makes me so mad. Also, what was she doing when this woman was a child? If she's shaming her for having 3 meals a day, was this kid denied having 3 meals a day growing up? That's fucked up. Like, that's horrible. Like, having an eating disorder, it sucks, right? It's the worst thing in the world. Like, I cannot express to you how horrible it is. If you have not had like a severe eating disorder, I cannot tell you how terrible it is, but it's horrible. When you're eating 1,000 calories or less every single day, you are cold all the time. You are like constantly experiencing like tunnel vision. You're always dizzy and lightheaded. You're blacking out. Your body is not like communicating with you. Your hair is thinning. Like, it sucks. And you're miserable all the time. You're like just absolutely miserable. It's the worst. And I wouldn't wish that upon my worst enemy, let alone my child. You, as someone who is restricting yourself that much, you know how miserable you are. You know how much it fucking sucks. You know what that voice in your head sounds like and the cycle that you exist in. Like, you are miserable. And it's horrible. Why would you want that for your child and your child's child? Like, what are you doing? Again, like, I wouldn't wish an eating disorder on my worst enemy, let alone someone that I love. I know that misery loves company, but like, Jesus fucking Christ. People say, you know, have empathy because they have eating disorders or whatever. Like, you're not in your right mind. And like, sure, okay, you're not in your right mind. You can be a little bit horrible sometimes because, you know, you haven't had food, you can't think clearly. And I know that eating disorders mean it literally feels like you're possessed a little bit, and it's horrible. But something that I never understood, right, is that like, it reminds me of how I end up on eating disorder Twitter every now and then, which is terrible, and I don't know how I get there. Twitter algorithm is terrible. You see people who do their like pro Anna, like Anna buddies or whatever, where they have friends and they're all encouraging each other to fast, to not eat. You have people who are like, you can do this, I believe in you, finish the fast, don't eat, blah, blah, blah. And I've never understood it. Even when I was there, like, I existed on that part of the internet and I just never got it. I wanted people to do it for me, but there was not a single chance in hell I would do it for anyone else. So when I see people trying to excuse it as like a, you know, they're not thinking clearly, like anorexia takes over your brain and you have no control, like, that is true, but that doesn't have to go out to other people. I had a lot of friends who were severely struggling and who were like in hospital and never projected that on anyone else. That is a conscious choice that you are making. You are a selfish person. Like, yes, you are struggling and I hope that you get help, but there is no need for you to take that on anyone else, let alone your child. And if you are at a point where you are like starving yourself that much, it is your responsibility to look for help and to deal with that instead of taking it out on your kid. Like, you have a level of responsibility to keep your child happy and healthy and alive. And if you are unable to do that and you are unwilling to help yourself to help your child, then like, what are you fucking doing? You know, you're a bad parent. This says almond mom vibes, and it is someone opening a fridge, and in the fridge it's just a sign that says, "You're not hungry, you're bored, shut the damn door." Stop teaching this shit. Oh my God. You should never feel shame or guilt about eating. You should never feel shame or guilt about eating. You are allowed to eat food. If you are hungry, you should not be shamed for it. You should not be yelled at for it or told not to eat. Like, what do you mean you're not hungry, you're bored? I remember being told this so much. You say that you're hungry and you're so brushed off and dismissed. It's like, oh, you're probably just bored. And like, sure, sometimes I am bored and I have snacks in front of me and I am not hungry and I will eat them. And I'm like, it's just because they're there. It's convenient. Like, sure, that happens sometimes. But if I'm actively standing up and going looking for food, like, chances are I'm actually hungry. You know what I mean? And I just don't think there's any point in telling me that I'm not and shaming me for experiencing something that is normal for a human being to experience. And if you are constantly being told to ignore your hunger signals, you are fucking up your body. If you ignore your hunger signals often enough, your body literally stops sending them to you. And not only does it stop sending you hunger signals, it also stops sending you signals to tell you that you're full. And it just throws you completely off balance. Not having any hunger signals really fucking sucks. It's terrible. Like, that is a normal, important thing for your body to be doing, is to be telling you when it needs something. And you need to listen to that and pay attention to that because it's there for a reason. You shouldn't be encouraging yourself or your kids especially to neglect that part of their body, to tell them to ignore it, to tell them their body is essentially lying to them. They're allowed to eat food. I just need to know, like, why it's so important to these parents to enforce this in their children. You know, like, why is it so important for you to tell them you're not hungry, you're bored? Like, why is it so important for you to brush that off and ignore their telling you that they're hungry? Like, why is that necessary? Why is it better for you to say that than to actually listen to them and offer them something to eat? I understand that it's important to make good choices, and I understand that you need to nourish your body. Like, that is valid. That is something that we need to be doing. And I think that we should be talking about food and teaching each other about food, sure. But nourishing your body and making good choices and shaming someone for wanting a snack are two very, very different things. You know, like, instead of telling your kid like sugar bad, snack bad, we should be talking about the importance of like getting your 5 a day, of having enough protein, of like eating food that is like rich in fiber so it keeps you full for longer. Also, snacking in general is just really good for you because of your metabolism, right? Like, your metabolism starts when you eat breakfast. It starts your metabolism for the day. And then progressively as the day goes on, your metabolism is going down. And then when you have a snack, it picks back up and then it starts going down. You eat something, it goes up and it starts going down. So like, if you're snacking, it's keeping your metabolism up and means your body is functioning and running at like a higher level. You know, the longer you go without eating, the more your metabolism slows down, which means that you're going to be moving slower and feeling a bit more tired. Like, snacks are actually really good to have, but you wouldn't know that because you haven't actually educated yourself on good nutrition and how to take care of yourself. All you know is that food bad, don't eat, only dinner. Like, if you're going to be raising kids and you're going to be teaching them stuff about food, actually know what you're teaching them and know what you're talking about. Educate yourself about food and nutrition properly, not just about calories and like bare basic shit that you get on the internet. Like, I understand that it's difficult to overcome eating disorders. I understand that it's really difficult to rewire your brain and to instill good habits after such a long time of having bad habits and of ignoring the fact that they are bad habits. However, it is incredibly important to do, and you cannot be making your eating disorder your kid's problem. You cannot be instilling these values in your kids who are then going to instill it in their kids. Break the cycle. Reflect on your actions and like actually question why you feel the way that you do. Like, this is the thing, is so many people act this way and say this stuff, but can you tell me why? Why are you saying you're not hungry or bored? Why is that so important to you? Think about it and figure it out.
Here's my Easter cake.
What's in it? Or what's not in it?
It's keto and it's sugar-free and it's grain-free and flour-free and all that.
Okay, but I really want to know why. Once again, I know I've just asked that, but I really want to know why. Why are we doing this? I feel like this is more crunchy than Almond Mom, but I just want to bring it here because I just don't get it. I just don't understand why people deny themselves of joy for like no reason at all. You know, they're like, oh, it's healthier. It makes you feel good. Having cake once is not going to ruin your body. Sure, maybe don't eat cake every single day, but like having cake on Easter with like sugar and flour, unless you have allergies, obviously, it's totally fine. And don't sit here and tell me that it tastes the same. Don't tell me that it tastes just as good, because I know that you're lying. I know that you're lying. This does not taste as good as a normal chocolate cake. And I know this because I went vegan before anyone was vegan back in New Zealand. It was hard enough being vegetarian back then. 2017, I went vegan. You know how many vegan places there were? One. There was one, and it was called Little Bird Unbakery, which is exactly what it sounds like. It was a shop that sold baking, but it was all raw. It was brownies and cheesecakes and I don't remember, cookies, other stuff. I don't know, but it was all raw ingredients. So the brownies were literally just like cocoa and dates. The cheesecakes were like 90% coconut oil. Like, it was sugar-free, all like GMO-free, yada yada, all that health stuff. And it's not the same thing. A brownie made of dates and cocoa is not a fucking brownie. Does it taste good? Sure. I actually really enjoyed them for a period of time. I really did like them. However, it's not a brownie. It's not a brownie. I had to start doing all my own baking because I just wanted a piece of cake that had been cooked and had flour and sugar in it. It's not the same thing. It's a poor substitute for it. If it's not like baked, it's not a cake. Let yourself enjoy food. Okay, food is good. It's great. It's tasty. When my already almond mom is going 100% almond now, and she is scanning the barcodes on all of her food into an app to look at what, I don't know, the nutritional value, the calories, the whatever. I don't know particularly what she is using it for, but based on the things that she is putting in her cart, I would say it seems likely quite restrictive. And I've heard a lot about this new like calorie AI app, and it needs to die. Calorie counting apps need to die. In saying this, if you are watching this video, which you are, or you wouldn't be hearing me say this, if you have MyFitnessPal installed on your phone right now, go delete it. I can wait for you. Get rid of it. If you have a calorie counting app on your phone right now and you are tracking your calorie intake, delete it. That's not healthy, ever. There is no situation in which that is healthy. Tracking macros and things, I understand if you are athletic. If you are like doing weightlifting or you are doing something that requires a lot of physical activity, I understand that you need to have a specific diet in order to maintain that. There are certain instances in which, yes, you need to know how much protein and carbs, etc., that you are getting in order to maintain the lifestyle that you have. That is separate to calorie counting specifically, though. There is no benefit to counting calories. All it does is create obsession. And this is a conversation I've seen had a lot of the time, but like MyFitnessPal has ruined the lives of so many young women. It was the start of the end for me and for so many other people that I know. You can say that you've downloaded it and you're going to be doing it healthily. You're not going to go to, no, don't do it. Don't start down there. And am I projecting? Yeah, but also, no. There are so many other things to do. Like, if you are entering everything that you eat into an app to monitor your calorie intake and output, if you were going into an app to say you walked 20 minutes to school, so therefore you have earned extra calories, like, that's not normal. We shouldn't be justifying, as I've said already, like what we can eat because of what we are doing with our bodies. You know, like you can just eat food and enjoy food. You can make healthy choices without tracking every single little piece that you are eating. It is possible to have a balanced diet. It is possible to make healthy choices without becoming obsessive. When so much of your life revolves around food, that is a problem, you know? And when you are having to try to justify what you are eating, that is a problem. When you are being told that you have to monitor everything that you're eating and you are watching someone so closely monitor everything that they're eating, and that makes you think that it's normal and what you should be doing, that's not okay, you know? And like, I know that, you know, people say that, well, calorie counting is important for weight loss and some people want to lose weight or they need to lose weight. Firstly, I have so many thoughts and feelings on this whole thing in general, but if you want to lose weight, you need to ask yourself why that is. Right? Because weight and health don't necessarily always co-align with each other. Like being fat doesn't make you unhealthy, being thin doesn't make you healthy. Like losing weight isn't going to automatically make you healthy, you know? Like sometimes, sure, weight loss can be beneficial to your health. And if that is going to be a reason why you want to do it, then okay, we'll have a conversation about that in a moment. If it's anything else, you need to ask why. Is it for yourself, or is it because you are being made to feel you have to look and be a specific way? If you are doing it for anyone other than yourself, it is not going to make you happy. I would love to sit here and say that, you know, we shouldn't ever do any like weight loss diets or like feel the need to change our bodies in any sort of way. And I do think that. However, I feel like that makes me a bit of a hypocrite in the sense that I'm not against like plastic surgery and like cosmetic procedures, because I'm very much like, if it makes you happy, do it. And I feel like it would make me a hypocrite if I'm saying it there and not here. You know what I mean? So I feel like I have to have a sort of base. However, this is a decision that is impacting not just like one decision, you know? It is a big thing that requires like lifestyle changes and a lot of mental stuff, you know? It's not just a procedure that you are going to experience. So you need to like go into it knowing that it's for you and not for anyone else. And you need to make good decisions, right? Like it's never about tracking everything that you eat. It's never about becoming obsessive. It's just about small changes and being healthy. It's not drastically changing your lifestyle, it's making small adjustments. It shouldn't be you trying to see massive results really quickly. It should be a long goal so that you are being healthy and not overdoing it. It is such a slippery slope and it can be so easy to fall into terribly disordered patterns when like weight loss is something that you are doing. I just think you need to be careful about these things. You need to not make really big decisions that are completely changing your life. You are not going to become like super obsessive and you actually know what you are doing and making actual good choices. No skipping meals, no justifying food with exercise, like no feeling guilt and shame over eating food. Like if you set strict rules and you break them, you're going to feel guilty. So like don't be doing that to yourself. Anyway, I went way off topic there. Ultimately, I think the main point of all of that is that calorie tracking is a big no-no. And I don't think we should be teaching that to our kids. And we definitely should not be, you know, taking entire foods out of our kids' diets and telling them that this is good, this is bad. Like we only eat black bean pasta because this is good and like white pasta is bad. Like you are teaching them bad relationships with that. Again, food is not good or bad. It's just different. You can tell them we're having this black bean pasta because it's got high protein and it's important to get protein. But don't tell them the other pasta is bad. Just say that this one has more nutrition in it. And so it means that if they eat this, they don't have to have their broccoli, you know? Like it's one of their 5 a day. Just teach healthy language and healthy relationships. Don't be tying food into their bodies. Don't be talking about their bodies in negative ways at all. Like, don't be talking about your body badly in front of your kids. Like, have healthy discussions and conversations around food and nutrition. Educate yourself, educate your kids, and just stop having these harsh, strict rules and punishing your children for experiencing natural human things. Anyway, yeah, this video veered way off task. I went on so many rants. I barely even really talked about almond moms. I mainly just talked about eating disorders, and I think that that's partially because of I'm in a state right now. As I said at the beginning of this video, eating disorders are something that most people never fully recover from. So if you are on the line of an eating disorder, please step away from the line before it's too late, because it's so much easier to fall than it is to get back out. And I've been really stressed recently, and whenever I am stressed, eating disorder comes back very loudly in my brain, and it can be really, really difficult to keep at bay. And I've been doing very good, but I think I needed I needed this, you know. I needed to sit down and talk about eating disorders and where they come from and the impact and influence of them, etc. And I think I needed it as a reminder to myself and to help me through what I'm going through right now. And also, I hope that it helps some of you as well, because as I said, most of us struggle from some sort of disordered eating. I hope that, you know, maybe you realized that some of the things you grew up with were not okay and not normal. Maybe in the environment you're in right now, it's not okay. Maybe some of the things that you thought were normal that you are currently doing, you've realized are not as healthy as you possibly thought that they were. Overall, yeah, I think parents need to be aware of their actions and their motives and need to stop making their problems their kids' problems. If you are suffering, you need to step back and try to get help for yourself and not make that your kid's problem. I think that it's really important to reflect on everything you are teaching your kids and ask yourself why you are doing it. You can't just be setting rules without actually knowing why. And if your kids don't know why, they're just going to be confused about it too. Like, it is important for you to know why you have the rules that you do, and it's important for your kids to know as well. And if you cannot give a solid reason as to why those rules are there, then the rule shouldn't be there at all. Don't just do it because you've been told. Actually know, reflect, question. And if your actions as a parent are different, like drastically different to all of those around you, maybe you should be asking why that is. Have conversations with other parents. Talk to your kids. Talk to other kids. Let yourself be open to criticism. If people tell you that they think you need help, maybe be open to that and don't just shut people down and be defensive. When your kids are involved, it is so, so important to listen and to do what you can to help them. And sometimes that means helping yourself. I hope that this video was helpful for anyone. I'm sorry that I went so off track and got a little bit maybe too personal and angry, and this wasn't really about mothers. I'm sorry if you came for something that you did not get. Welcome to my channel. I'm very good at rambling and going off task. I would love to see you again and we can sit down and ramble some more about other stuff. Yeah, maybe next time I'll keep a little bit more on track. But let me know what you thought of the video. Let me know your situation, your circumstances growing up, how it's affected you, how you're doing now, what you want to change, how you want to break the cycle, etc. Just please put trigger warnings on your comments and say what the trigger warnings are for if they are necessary. Thank you so much for watching. A massive thank you to my Kiwi Cat patrons: Arsene, Stella, Bay the Trucker, Chastity, Prismatic Petey, Sushi, M.A. Ping the Games, Phil the Duck, Jessie, River, Queen Glimmer, Ella, Lady Nutbar, Mr. Noodle, Radsack, Knitting Menace, Samuel, Chris, Ellie, Alexis, and Bobby. I love and appreciate you so, so much. Thank you so much for joining. I hope that you enjoy the rest of your day. Stay safe. Keep fighting. I love you. When you close your eyes, you replace the darkness with light. You replace